Today, the first sense and its precise role in physical expression, how the first sense perceives the physical reality within the thought, and what that perceiving does for the thinker who is developing the thought. This is the 7-minute daily focus, day 161 of 365, to focus on the world within from the world without. Today's focus, the law of physical expression, first sense and physical expression. Pause for a moment. 7 days in. Stability understood. The physical reality within the thought holds constant. It does not change with conditions. The instability is always in the direction of attention, not in the thought itself. Today, the first sense and its precise role in physical expression, how the first sense perceives the physical reality within the thought, and what that perceiving does for the thinker who is developing the thought. Pause. The first sense perceives primary reality. It perceives what is metaphysically present, what is real within, before the physical world shows it. In the law of pattern, the first sense perceived the metaphysical pattern within the thought. Now, in the law of physical expression, the first sense perceives something deeper, not only the pattern within the thought, the physical reality within the thought, the full, complete physical reality waiting within before it has physically appeared. This is the depth of metaphysical visuality in this law. The inner sight perceives not the pattern only. The inner sight perceives the physical reality that is waiting within the pattern. Pause for a moment. Consider what this means for the thinker. The thinker operating from the first sense does not wait for the physical world to show what is within the thought. The thinker perceives it within before it appears without. The idea within the thought, its physical reality perceived within, the dream within the thought, its physical reality perceived within. The desire within the thought, its physical reality perceived within, before appearance, before physical confirmation, before the five senses can report anything. The first sense is already perceiving what is real, within, now. Thought is within, effect is without, thinking stands between. Pause for a moment. The perceiving of the first sense is not wishful thinking. Wishful thinking projects outward. It creates mental assent of what one wishes for. Metaphysical visuality perceives inward. It perceives what is actually present within. These are not the same. Wishful thinking is mental assent. The first sense is the inner sight, receiving what is already there. The thinker who confuses these two will sometimes mistake the activity of the wishful thinking for the perceiving of the first sense. The distinguishing quality is this: what the wishful thinking projects is not yet certain. What the first sense perceives carries a quiet certainty, a knowing, not manufactured, not willed, received from within. That certainty is the sign that it is the first sense perceiving, not wishful thinking projecting. Pause. The first sense perceiving the physical reality within the thought before it appears physically gives the thinker a position of authority through the invisible period. The thinker who has perceived the physical reality within the thought is not waiting in uncertainty for something to arrive. They are moving through the unfolding of what has already been perceived. The physical world has not yet confirmed it. The inner sight has, and the inner sight is the more precise instrument. It perceives primary reality, what is actually real, what is actually present. The five senses perceive secondary reality, what has already expressed. The thinker whose reference point is the first sense operates from a more precise and more primary position than the thinker whose reference point is the five senses. Pause. The first sense deepens with practice. The morning practice is the daily opening of the first sense, and with each morning of practice, the perception becomes clearer, more precise. The inner sight develops. What was once faintly perceived becomes more clearly received. The physical reality within the thought is not becoming more present as the practice continues. It was always fully present. What is deepening is the thinker's ability to perceive what was always there. The first sense becoming more fluent in its natural perception of primary reality. This is the deepening of metaphysical visuality through the law of physical expression. The inner sight perceiving with increasing clarity the full physical reality that has always been waiting within the thought. Not doubtfulness, not struggle, not force. You are not pushing the seed, not pressure. You are not trying to make it happen, but steadfastness, focused. Remain aligned with what is within. Do not be moved by what is physically seen, because what is physically seen is always secondary to what is unfolding. Now, the affirmation for day 161. Pause for a moment. I open the first sense, the inner sight, and I perceive the physical reality within my thought before it appears physically, before the five senses can report anything. The first sense perceives it now, within, complete. The idea within my thought, its physical reality perceived within. The dream within my thought, its physical reality perceived within. The desire within my thought, its physical reality perceived within. This perceiving carries a quiet certainty, a knowing, not manufactured, received from within. And because the first sense has perceived what is within, I do not wait in uncertainty. I move through the unfolding of what has already been perceived. The inner sight has confirmed it, and what is confirmed within must physically express, remember, by design, by focus.